Before starting the video, make sure to smash that like button. Do it now, it only takes a second to do it, and hit the subscribe button and the bell to turn on notifications so you can be informed whenever I upload new Chronicles. Also, visit my website, that is tpchronicles.com. There you can read articles and see videos that cannot be uploaded on YouTube. You don't want to miss those videos. The link is in the description box below. Also, join me on Facebook, Twitter, IG, TikTok, social platforms. If you are down with the campaign, type CN, which stands for Chronicle Nation, in the comment section. Upon that note, let's get into this next video, and it goes like this.
If you remember the Buffalo shooting that just happened, make sure you watch until the end. It gets interesting. So if you didn't know, this guy here woke up and drove 200 miles to a grocery store in Buffalo, New York, shooting and killing 10 people and injuring 3 others. Now, among the people who were killed was a guy named Aaron Salters, and this is where things get a bit interesting. Now, what caught my attention about this is that Mr. Salters was just on the news about a month ago explaining an invention he made, which was an engine that runs completely off water, no fuel needed. A completely hydrogen fuel system. And we all know what happened to the last person who decided to come forth with an invention similar to this one.
Possible active shooter at the top.
Before Buffalo police rushed to Top's Friendly Market Saturday, there was Aaron Salter, the security guard, killed as he served and protected.
Aaron Salter, 55, retired Buffalo police officer. Loved electric cars.
He built a lab in his garage where he spent countless hours working to develop an engine that could run on water.
It's not running off of gas fuel? No, there's no gas fuel.
I can't tell you how I use it. I do have a patent pending.
A local inventor has discovered a way, hear this, to use water to run your car.
Make no mistake about it, Chronicle Nation. The secret societies created an army, which is called the Internet Army Trolls. And these bees, who are a part of the beehive, are sent out to oppose the truth. Everything that I'm showing you people are a part of the Zero-Day. I stumbled across this individual by the name of Jericho Green, and he put together both killings of 2 men who created engines that run off of water. These 2 men were a threat to the plan. Well, what plan? The agenda of control. You can call it a theory all you want. In the end, you will be the one that suffers. Bear with me for a minute, Chronicle Nation. I want to throw this topic in this video because it has everything to do with the 2030 reset. Zero-Day is building on a platform of the Great Reset agenda. Watch this.
So I want to do a video real quick on something. Shout out to my man Craig Long. He posted something on his Instagram that really caught my eye. You know, I wouldn't consider myself a conspiracy theorist, even though a lot of the things that people considered conspiracies 5-10 years ago have already come to pass. So what's a conspiracy at this point? I guess if we wait long enough, nothing will be a conspiracy. But some might call what I'm about to talk about a conspiracy. So the man who was killed by that demon in Buffalo at the Tops grocery store, the security guard, Mr. Aaron Salter, former police officer, he engaged the shooter, shot him, but the body armor proved to be too much for his rounds, and he was then killed by the shooter. And the reason I'm bringing him up is because there's a connection between him and a man named Stanley Myers.
Aaron Salter Jr. wore many hats in his life: retired police officer, substitute teacher, but one of his true passions was science. He built a lab in his garage where he spent countless hours working to develop an engine that could run on water.
It's not running off of gas fumes?
No, there's no gas fumes. There's no gas fumes.
Sadly, for all he was in life, the world is learning his story because of the courage he displayed doing his job, protecting his community. Working security at the Tops grocery store, Salter engaged the shooter, who was heavily protected by body armor.
We have evidence that he struck him at least one time, and that unfortunately had no effect.
Not everyone would have made the same choice, to run towards gunfire. And with his experience, 30 years on the Buffalo police force, he had to have guessed the shooter had an assault rifle. Yet Salter tried, ultimately in vain, to save the lives of others.
Aaron was, a great individual, and I know he, in his heart, he wanted to save as many people as he could. And it didn't surprise me to hear that he engaged the guy right away that tried to stop him.
Salter retired from the Buffalo police force in 2018, and by all accounts, he didn't need this job at Tops, working security.
Surviving a job in law enforcement and making retirement, it's a big deal for you personally and for your family, because they expect, you can kind of ride it out now and enjoy your life.
But Salter chose to continue serving his community because he believed he could make it better. Now his former colleagues are trying to get him reinstated into that police force for a single day so his city can honor him with the formal police funeral they say he deserves. Mike Drolet, Global News.
Back in 1998, March 21st, 1998, a man by the name of Stanley Myers was meeting with these guys to fund a project of his. He had created a water-powered engine. And he started creating this engine back in 1975, right around the time of the great gas crunch, the gas crisis. They even started building cars differently because of this gas crisis. Look at the Chevy Nova. Look at, say, a 72 Nova versus Beverly Hills Cop. Eddie Murphy was driving a Chevy Nova. Look at the difference in those two. So, and there are others, but during that gas crisis is when he started working on that engine.
Okay. It never wears out because there's no moving parts.
In the top our news here at 6 o'clock, an age-old dream becoming a reality. A local inventor has discovered a way, hear this, to use water to run your car.
It's a major breakthrough that will no doubt make motorists happy. And as Ralph Robinson explains, the Pentagon is also showing lots of interest in this project.
Water has always been considered a precious commodity, but Stan Meyer's invention may make it even more valuable. He has developed what's called a water fuel cell. It has taken the place of his old gas tank. The water fuel cell breaks down water molecules into oxygen and hydrogen. The hydrogen is used to run his dune buggy.
I don't care if you use rainwater, well water, city water, ocean water. If you don't have any fresh water, go ahead and use snow. If you don't have any snow available to you, then use salt water because there's no adverse effect to the fuel cell.
Meyer started working on this project 4 years ago. He's not a scientist. He isn't even a chemist. In fact, he never graduated from college. Myers was determined, he says, to design something to protect this country from oil embargoes.
And we have calculated that if we take the dune buggy from Los Angeles to New York, we would roughly use 22 gallons of water.
The Pentagon flew a lieutenant colonel in last week to look at Myers' invention. There's talk of possibly using it in the Star Wars defense program and to run army tanks. Myers is currently perfecting a water fuel cell for cars. It will cost about $1,500. He says it won't need any maintenance, and you won't have to replace it. It'll be at least 2 years before the fuel system goes into mass production. The day it happens will be one the fuel industry hates, but it'll put a smile on the face of those who've had to say at one time or another.
Are we not getting into a gas crisis right now? But Stanley Myers was meeting with some guys along with his brother to get funding for his water-powered engine. So they bring him these drinks to the table, and I think it was cranberry juice. He takes a drink. He immediately stands up, starts grabbing his neck. He says, "They poisoned me." He goes out into the parking lot where he eventually died. But before he died, he said, "They poisoned me because I'm working on a water-powered engine," is basically what he said.
Pull her up.
There is an enormous range of new things that have been worked up to a remarkable level in the past and then suppressed by the existing order for one reason or another. Either they're incompatible with classical ideas, or they upset strong financial interests, or whatever it may be. In the past, great things have been done by gifted humans. They are, in a sense, the vehicles of God Almighty in bringing this stuff into the world. And none of it has ever reached public use and public currency because of this dictatorship of the knowledge systems of the world. Video, and in particular projects like this one we're on now, they reveal that you can do to these ancient, seemingly ancient discoveries what was not possible or feasible 50 years ago. It was simply beyond technical capabilities, and the means of distributing what you discovered were all in the wrong hands. Nowadays, the internet has put all that to bed. You can't do that anymore. You know, humanity is going to have information no matter what. So I see in the things that I know about and have been personally involved with a great horizon for producing an endless series of productions like this that will bring this stuff out of the limbo where they've been shoved and into the full light of day, where some of the bright young people who are now on the earth can make them into blessings for mankind.
And he fell down and died. His brother was there. Those businessmen were there. The police officer who worked his case, he talked to the medical examiner. They said that it was by natural causes, but he died from something that wasn't found in American soil. So could have been from somewhere else. But he died, and he was working on a water-powered engine. Now, here's a connection. Mr. Aaron Salter, in his free time, he also created a water-powered engine. And he was on the news. There's footage of him running the engine, talking about it. There's no emissions, blah, blah, blah. It's to revolutionize. And if you think about it, because these are humans we're talking about, and truth is stranger than fiction. So all these movies you've seen where the government will do this stuff to take somebody out because they were working on something, and they make it look like an accident. And, what was it, that movie, The Shooter, with Mark Wahlberg? They had this suicide contraption where they could strap it onto your neck, and they put your gun in there, and then they crank it down, and they go, and it makes the gun go like this to your head. And then they pull the trigger, they take the contraption away, and it looks like you put the gun to your side head and blew your brains out. And they wrote a suicide note for the guy they were going to kill, and they injected him with, and they were trying to make him drink water to flush it out of his system. And the guy says, you don't want them to do an autopsy and then find this guy's system full of that the CIA uses. So, that just furthers the cloak and dagger. Oh, they, stick you with this stuff that the agency uses and all this. And we think it's in the movies. But truth is stranger than fiction. Real will blow that Hollywood out of the water. So is it possible, because they're talking getting electric cars, everybody getting an electric car, we're going to put 500,000 charging stations across the U.S. Biden is perverted. Our grandpa in chief telling us, why don't you just buy electric cars? But what would fly in the face of electricity? What do we all have access to? Because see, to get electricity, you got to have the charging stations. You got to put one in your house, and PG&E. That's what it is out here in California, Pacific Gas and Electric. I don't know what you guys got, East Coast or whatever, but out here it's PG&E. So you got to go through PG&E to get electricity, even if you have solar. Your meter is still running and it's still controlled by PG&E. If you have solar, PG&E still has to come out and approve it for you to use it. So you got to go through somebody. But we all got access to water. We all got a hose. We all live by a lake or an ocean or something, but we all have sinks and stuff and hoses in our front and backyard or whatever. So that we could supply ourselves. That would take them out of the picture. That would give us personal responsibility.
So Chronicle Nation, I need y'all to understand that this is straight up Luciferianism. God has given us free will to choose. Satan can only promote fear and passively create systems of control. Currency is control. Gas is control. Destroy independence and become slaves to a world order. This is what it's all about, family. This is what all these shootings, this is why the gas prices are high. And anybody that will come in the midst and oppose what they're doing, they cut them down like these two gentlemen. Wake up, family.
We would be responsible for powering our own vehicles. No more gas stations, no more charging stations. That takes the power away from them. And then all the money in the auto industry. Obama tried to save them. They're too big to fail. So the government obviously gives a big shit about the auto industry. And then a large part of the oil that we use, that we get from other countries, terrorist countries, is for fueling our vehicles. So you cut vehicles out of the equation, that's a lot of damn money. It's a lot of damn politicians in bed with the auto industry, with their lobbyists and whatever. Who knows how many manila envelopes stuffed with cash have been slid under tables to these fools. So it's not that far-fetched because, again, things that we thought were unthinkable 10 years ago. The Ku Klux Klan in the classrooms. Men can get pregnant. Chest feeders. All this stupid shit. Yeah, man, you go ahead and take some Flintstone vitamins for a year. You can go play with the girls. We would have laughed at. You would have been locked in a room with a straitjacket on for talking about is happening or has happened. So how far-fetched is this? That's some crazy shit. Okay, and to see the news footage, I'm going to trying to find it and put it in the description box. But to see the news footage of this man talking about his gas-powered engine and now he's dead. Stanley Myers invented the gas-powered engine. He's dead.
Divide and tactic or invisible enemies. These are all ways to institute fear and get people to go along with things. And of course, enormous control mechanisms. You can stop people from gathering. You can stop people from organizing. You can stop people from getting together and talking about what's going on, et cetera, et cetera. And if you digitize it with contract tracing, then you can control who's talking to whom. If you can get them to do all their work and education online, you can literally listen to everything they're saying. So you can institute extraordinary amounts of surveillance, all in the theory that we're protecting you from the invisible virus. Essentially, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get people to buy into a solution before they see where it's ultimately going to go. Because you're talking about a transaction system that is no longer a currency, it's a control system. So it's like a credit at the company store. If every central bank comes out with a digital central bank currency, they have the ability to turn your money on and off. So if you don't behave,